Last week I made lions and I tested two styles of manes. I thought the weight of the mane would be the biggest problem, but I was wrong. It turns out that I needed to make the bodies wider in order to hold the weight of the mane, so it didn't matter how much hair I had at the top. If the body wasn't stable, then this lion was going to fall over. This week I'm showing you exactly how I made these lions, specifically how I made these manes. Because this is how I make hair for anything, whether it's a doll or an animal. My name is Ian, I'm a crochet toy maker, and for the last few months I've been crocheting the pieces to a safari adventure story, and we are currently making lions. Last week I tested how big I could make manes before the lion falls over. I made 3 lions with 3 different types of legs and 2 removable manes. And this is what I learned from that. A wider body made the lion more stable. The weight of the mane played less of a role than what I thought. It didn't matter how heavy or light this mane was. If the body wasn't stable, this thing was going to fall over. Thinner legs need help, and I added pipe cleaners into my legs to make them sturdy. You could also use wire. Shorter legs are more stable than longer legs. Today I'm going to show you how I made both of these mane styles, straight and curly. I'm going to link the how to make elephants video here. You can watch that if you want to see how I actually build animals from the bottom up. Today we are just concentrating on hair. I make 4 tubes for legs and I join the legs with chain stitches. The amount of chain stitches you put in here is entirely up to you. But the rule of thumb is the more chains you put in, the more stitches and space you're going to have between your legs. And the wider your body is going to be, or bigger your body is going to be, that's going to make a more stable doll. In this case, for the lions, I added more chains between the front legs and the back legs than I did for the elephants. A wider gap made a wider body and it gave me more stability. Then, to make the body, I worked plain rounds up and around, and I decreased to close the top of the body. For the head, I continued from the body opening and then increased to form the head and close it again. Let's do the first mane. This is the heavier of the 2 manes and it's made with individually crocheted hair strands. When I want to cover a surface with hair, I create a wig cap first. For this one, I wanted to cover the back of the head and I wanted the hair to go around the ears in the front, and then I also want hair under the chin. So I started with a wig cap and I made a flat semicircle that fit the back of the head. I then made chain stitches around the front of the ears for both and down the chin. And I did that a few times to make sure that the cap sits securely on the head. Once I fitted the cap, that was when I crocheted each strand individually into these exposed stitches. If you work in the back loops or the front loops, you have exposed stitches. And I made chain stitches and I single crocheted back onto these chains. I did different lengths to try and work out the different lengths of the hair. And then it's weaving in ends and fitting on the lion. It makes a difference when you have the toy in front of you so that you can fit it and play with it to see how it's going to work. Usually, I would just sew this onto the lion, but I wanted to test the manes on the different lions. What I did notice is that the mane is heavy and it pulls the body forward. On a wider body, the mane is perfectly balanced, but with a narrow body, it topples over. And now for the second mane, and this was the lighter of the two manes. I made this with loop stitches. Loop stitches are difficult to explain and frankly difficult to do. It's one of those things that take practice. There are two ways that I've seen to make loop stitches, and I've tried both of them. The one is the normal way where you work the loop stitches, but the loops end up on the back of the piece. What you are looking at is a flat surface, and the loops show up on the back. So you're almost working, you've got to think back to front. And then it takes a bit of finger gymnastics. The second way to do it is you work the loop stitches in the front. However, I have found that working the loop stitches in the front does not make a secure thing, and for some reason my pieces always unravel when I make the ones in the front. The stitches don't feel as tight. That being said, it works great for flat pieces, but when working in the round, I find working the loop stitches in the back the normal way is the best way. For this one, instead of making a separate wig cap, I copied the same stitch count but made loop stitches. So not just the wig cap, I made the wig cap with the loops. This is a lighter mane. It doesn't pull the head forward. It stands well on both the wide and the narrow bodies. This is the best one for all body types. So here are all the lions. They have the same body construction. We have 3 different style legs joined with the same body and the same head, same ears and tail. What's different are the manes and the feet. The first mane is the wig cap with the strands crocheted separately. This is the easier of the two. It is heavier though, and it will take you longer to make. The second mane is a loop stitch wig. It is lighter. It looks a little bit more natural, but this is more difficult of the two. This is an expert level, practice makes perfect type of thing. Although I find some people find it easy to do. What did surprise me is the weight of the mane mattered less than I thought. What made the bigger difference is how wide I made the body. These elephants all topple over. They're not as stable. All these animals follow the same recipe. They start with the same basic shapes. It's tubes for legs that becomes a tube for the body and spheres for the heads. What changes are the details, and that's shape logic. It's the same shapes being put together in a different way. This month on Patreon, we are going deep into balance, how to join 4 legs together, and the mistakes people usually make. Like I said, deep. Next week, I am going to make a cheetah and a leopard. Maybe not both of them, but from this point on, I want to try and work with colors. I've been putting this off for a long time. I don't like to work with colors, but I will do it for you. So next week, we are testing the difference between how to make spots and stripes. And I'm going to learn how to add color without losing my mind.